What is the Council of Europe 1 in 5 campaign to stop sexual violence against children? And why 1 in 5?
The Council of Europe 1 in 5 campaign to stop sexual violence against children was launched in November 2010 in Rome, in Italy. And we have got 2 aims for the campaign. First and foremost, we wish more member states to sign and ratify and implement the Lanzarote Convention, which is a very powerful tool to fight against sexual violence against children. And secondly, we also wish to raise awareness of the extent of sexual violence in the European communities and empower the children and parents and professionals to fight against sexual violence. And you asked about the figure 1 in 5, where does it arise from? Well, we base this figure on the recent studies and research in this field in Europe. And it is an estimate figure. We also have some data available from UNICEF, from International Labour Organization and World Health Organization. And it is an estimate figure because at the moment it's very difficult to obtain a clear picture of sexual violence against children. First and foremost because it is still a taboo topic, and children also themselves find it very difficult to talk about what has happened to them. They feel ashamed and confused what has happened to them, and that is one of the reasons that we don't know exactly at the moment what children are and young people are experiencing. Secondly, also we rely on estimates because many of the member states don't have enough, they have not invested enough in collecting data. They don't have proper methodologies in use, or they, for example, interviewing techniques sometimes, require certain skills, professional skills, that we need to build capacities of professionals to interview young children, especially children who have experienced trauma, such as sexual violence. So we need to build that capacity to receive more information. We also need to empower children very much to be brave enough to talk to somebody they trust about what has happened to them. And then we need to empower parents so that they are also brave enough to raise this topic. It is very difficult to talk to a small child, for example, about this issue. So in order to have more data, we have to have the member states to invest in the methodologies, in making sure that we have enough capacity to understand. And by having more data, we're able to also guide the member states. The member states are able to implement policies better, and they're able to also to support victims of sexual violence and their parents.
Can you provide some examples of best practices of how knowledge and tools can help to prevent cases of child sexual abuse?
Campaigning and raising awareness is a very powerful tool, and that's why we have, in the Council of Europe, invested in this campaign very much. And what has been so excellent and wonderful in this campaign so far is that we have been able to cooperate with so many different people, various stakeholders, such as parliamentarians, local and regional authorities, professionals such as teachers, social workers, lawyers, policemen, let alone the civil society, NGOs, civil society organizations, and also we have colleagues from the UN, UNICEF and the EU that have been very much involved in the campaign and supporting us in various ways. And we also think that in this campaign it's very important to involve children and young people. So we have been also working hard and making sure that we listen to the voices of children and young people. For empowerment in the campaign as a tool, we have developed awareness-raising material that has been very well received in the member states. We have had contacts also from the member states saying that children have very well received this material, which makes us very happy. I could maybe mention a few examples of some of the member states. For example, in Cyprus, it was an NGO that became our campaign partner. And this NGO, ever since they launched the campaign, they have been cooperating with the contact parliamentarian to the Council of Europe. They have been very much lobbying their government. So now it actually, the situation is that one of the ministries has taken over the campaign, and they are now raising awareness using our materials and arranging various awareness-raising events among young children and their parents, and also targeting schools with our materials. So that's very wonderful. We wish to also make sure that media is aware, and in some of the cases, for example, I know from the Montenegro that they actually in Montenegro are in their campaign now wishing to target the media, and they are going to, in cooperation with the ministry, they're going to come up with some ethical guidelines for journalists and practitioners in the media sector on how to write about sexual violence against children, and to make sure also that when they write about sexual violence in the media or expose these different cases, that they apply to the code of ethics. So as you can hear, there are many ways of campaigning. Some of the human rights commissioners in some of the member states have been also involved, for example in the Czech Republic. And we really hope that for more ombudsmen and ombudspersons for children could be maybe also involved in the member states.
Thank you very much, Tiina Maria.